I almost forgot to mention like the coolest thing ever. There is a theorem called the Remainder Theorem. All right, so I wrote that. The Remainder Theorem. And what it tells us is when we divide this polynomial by this x plus 1, the remainder that I get is equal to the what would happen if I plugged this number, -1, into this original polynomial. So here, if I plug in -1 into x cubed plus 4x squared plus x minus 6, my output should be, -4. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and say -1. I'm just going to do this on the calculator because it's going to be much easier for me. All right, whoops. I'm going to do -1 to the third power. All right, and then I'm going to add 4 times -1 squared. And then I'm going to add -1, and then I'm going to subtract 6. So when I type all that in my calculator, I'm telling you, or the remainder theorem is telling you, that your output here will be -4. You ready? It equals -4. The remainder when we do division is equal to the value of the output when we plug in this number. So what happens when I plug in 4 into here? My output should be 0. And now there's a couple ways you can do this. First of all, let me go back to this one right here. If you don't want to keep typing all those parentheses and -1s again and again, you can do it in terms of x. You can type -1, and then there's a store button right here, S-T-O. You're going to stow. You're going to store that. So it puts a little arrow. You're going to store it as x. Enter. So now whenever you type x, it outputs -1. So you can go ahead and type x to the third plus 4x squared plus x minus 6, and your output will be -4. All right? Handy dandy. It's good stuff. Now for the other one, we want to take +4, because that's what we're doing here. We're dividing by x minus 4, so we're going to plug in 4 into x. So I'm just going to do this a little bit faster here. 4 in place of x. And so now my x is equal to 4. I just double check it. I'm going to type 2x to the third power minus 3x squared minus 18x's minus 8. Let me just make sure I typed that. It looks like I did. My output better be 0. Ta-da, it is. All right? Now this is a pretty sweet situation, and we can get into the reasons why this works out the way it does. The reason why it works out with a remainder of 0 over here should make sense. Why it works out with a remainder of -4 on the other example may not quite make sense to you at this point, but that's all right. What I want for you to understand is that we can find what happens if p of x. If p of x is equal to this polynomial, x cubed plus 4x squared plus x minus 6, then that means that p of -1 is equal to -4. When I plug -1 in here, my output is the remainder that I get from doing division. All right, pretty fancy trick. That's the remainder theorem.